So me being confident in who I am is more of like, um, I guess it's aura. And when people think about aura, people think aura is like, yo, who's this tall guy that's just walked in with the flyest outfit on, or who's this guy that looks so cool? And no, aura, bes- besides the whole like social media facade of what aura is, I think like aura is like believing in like who I am and believing in like what I stand for, and I should be able to like radiate that in every room I walk into, in every interaction I have, you know? And I think that like in this like in the industry, it can become very tricky because everybody is somewhat high off their life and what they're doing, that like when now you've like walked into their presence or into their space or into a space, you can kind of like, or I can kind of like belittle myself, and not belittle myself where I'm like, everyone's my groot man here. Firstly, no one's my groot man. I respect you because of what you do and what you've done and who you are. But I can never just like respect you because you're an OG or what. I don't know. And maybe like people think I'm some, I don't know. I don't know if people have a perception that like I'm a snacks brew or whatever. And it's not, I don't even care what people think, to be fair. But I do care about how I carry myself, you know? Um, I do care about like how I want people to perceive me. And I don't necessarily care about like, when I say I care about how they perceive me, I always want to be 100% authentic in how I'm portraying myself, so that when you perceive me, you've perceived me in my 100% of being me, you know? I don't ever want to be in a position where like you perceiving me in like a way that like was not me, or like I was not me in the moment, you know? But for most part of it, I am a pretty confident guy. Um, but I do want to stand more on like, this is me, you know? And I think also that's where I could have lacked consistency, especially on like social media and being a content creator, that like I might have cared a bit too much about like wanting to be perfect for the camera or wanting to be perfect for a moment, that like the oh, I wanna, this word shy's me, the thing, the authenticity the authenticity of what I do, like it loses that kind of like, there's an aspect of authenticity that I lose because of like how I perceive people, or how I think people perceive me. And something as small as like the get flies with me that I used to do, like I was pretty confident in that, but I think at some point like it kind of hit a knock on me because of like how I thought people perceived me, you know? Like, I mean, bro, like getting ready in front of camera, people laughing at my pubic. I'm not embarrassed of my pubic hair, bro. Come on. But like at some point, it got to a point like I used to think like why am I so confident to just like have my chest hair out on social media, you know? Um, and like I'm not confident because of my chest hair, but it's more of like when people laugh at that, or when people make a comment on that, and it's not even about the chest hair per se, it's just an instance. It was just more like I don't like how people perceive that. I remember this one time, like in December, like I was catching up, not catching up, but like there was a homie, and he was outside, I was outside, and we're chilling, and he's like, yo bro, how's life, like how's shit going for you? how your get ready with me going? And I kind of felt like cringe. I was like, ah! like why has that become like my why has that become like part of me, as much as it was me doing it, but it was more of like when you're asking me how am I get flies with me, like what is your perception about it? And I think that's like where I was like where I'd cringe and just like squeal within myself, you know. But I want to care less, because it's like at the end of the day, like it's just me, and I'm in my world. If I'm being honest, like I should be living in my world, I should be living to my rules, and I guess that's what growing up comes with, and I guess that's what this session is about. It's more about like me looking back at like some of the things that I need to let go, and some of the things that like don't actually matter. Like, who cares, bro? Like, all I'm trying to do is look fly. Like, I'm just trying to put on some clothes, look fly, be confident in what I'm wearing, and being a content creator comes with that, you know. I need to be able to be perceived. I need to be able to be like, people should be saying something about me, you know. And I have no control over what they say about me, but I want to be able to like have control of like how, not have control, but have control over me, of how I put myself out to people. And I don't ever want it to now stray away from who I really am, you know. And I think also that's why like the YouTube stuff, like for a while I was just not confident in it anymore, because I'm not as young as I was before. Before, when I started YouTube in 2020, I was 20. Of course, like I'm young, I'm wild, I'm laughing at dumb shit, I'm like saying the craziest shit. I do still think that like I'm young, I still have an element of funniness, but like I'm not the same guy I was in 2020. And that's why I kind of felt like, this YouTube thing isn't gonna work for me, because people used to look forward to the Vuzi that was speaking shit, or the Vuzi that was like the most bubbliest. I don't think I'm not bubbly now, but like I'm a bit more like like a bit more mature now. I've grown up, you know. So it was kind of like, are people still gonna expect the same guy? And I guess that doesn't really matter, because whoever like fucks with me now for who I am, I guess we're on the same page, you know? And we were on the same page at the time when like I used to talk about the club, and when I used to be like the Twitter guy and make all these jokes, and now I have nothing to say. I have no opinion. Don't ask me about anything. Okay, do ask me. Like, I mean, I'm not nonchalant, but like I I'm I think I found peace in just like being to my, like not being to myself, being, but like being my own person, and not having to necessarily feel like I have to say something because I'm this person, or I have this amount of followers, or people are waiting on me to say something, or whatever. I don't think people have ever waited on me to say something, to be fair, but I just don't have anything to say. Yeah. Next point. Showing up for people the way they show up for me. If you know me, like, you'll know that like I um I am like a friend's friend. Like, I I love my friends, and I love having friends, and I love like, I'd almost say like, it's kind of scary, because it's like I don't I'd like to see myself as like a family guy, but I'm not necessarily a family guy within my own family. And maybe that's also one thing I should add, that like I have this belief of like showing up for the people that I love the most, and at the end of the day they're just friends, you know. And I don't want to blame anything on anyone, or like blame my childhood on like how I am and who I am, but it's like my friends, like for a long time, have been a most part of me, and like a most part of who I've become as a person. That like I think like it's almost felt like they're the center of my life, you know. Um, in me saying that I'm a family guy, I wish I could show up for my family in the ways that I do show up for my friends, because a lot of my friends I do consider as my family, and when I say family, I mean like they there's almost actually nothing that I wouldn't do for them, for my friends, you know, that they've almost kind of become my life. And in that, like, I don't necessarily think that I, I'm a fan of that, like, completely. And when I say completely, I mean, like, I do think it's good that I hold people that dear to my heart and I show up for them the way that I do. But in the same light, it's like sometimes I just be doing that stuff and maybe not like I don't that energy is not reciprocated, you know. And it's in so many ways, you know. Like I'm someone that shows up for the biggest moments, the smallest moments, you know. And they are my friends that do the same, but I also do feel like the way I'm so intentional about it, like I don't think I receive the same intention all the time. Um, and this doesn't come from anything that's happened. It's more come from like imagine if I had taken a bit more of that energy that I do have towards like showing up for my friends and like doing all these things for my friends and putting it into myself. I think like I would reap a bit more, you know. I don't think my friends take away from me. No, not at all. But I do think that like I give into it a lot more, and if I could take a little bit of that energy and put it a bit more into myself, like I would feel less of what I feel now. To my friends that are watching this, nothing bad has happened. Um, Obviously, like they are the friends that I know. Also, like what I really like about like the position that I'm in with all my friends and like where I am in life right now with all my friends is that like we know I kind of know what this friend does. I know what this friend does. I know, you know. So like I kind of know what to expect from this friend. I know what to expect from this friend. I know what to expect from this friend. And obviously along the way, um, maybe there are friends that like fall off and we're not as tight as we used to be, and that's normal. I don't think it's bad blood, but it's also just about, you know what, maybe we're not supposed to be that close, you know. But also, um, lost my train of thought. I'm just talking so much, bro. Damn, I'm a yapper. Um, oh yes, but also like I I don't ever want to feel I'm in a position where I'm overextending and wanting to do something that that other person doesn't want to do, you know. And I've kind of made peace with that. My friends know I don't say, yo, why weren't you there, or like, yo, why didn't you do this for me, or no. I'd rather take that energy and like lessen me putting my energy into like thinking why they didn't show up for me, or thinking why wouldn't they do that for me, because I would do that for them, and more put that energy in towards my goals and what I want to do and me, you know. Because essentially like friends are there, and like friends are gonna be there, you know. But at the end of the day, like it's still me that deals with my emotions as much as my friends might be there for me at my toughest times or at my greatest times. Like they don't do anything for me to make the choices that I make and hustle the way that I hustle and all of that. But yeah, friends, I still love you down. If you're watching this, no bad blood, but yo. Okay. Uh, the next one is like imposter syndrome. So that comes a lot from like the work that I do and the spaces that I'm in and all of that. Sometimes you can feel like, sometimes I can feel like, yo, why am I here? Or like, how did I get here? Or like, even maybe I'm not necessarily like the biggest deal. I'm not like a fucking mega star. I can be in the room, in the same rooms as those people that I'm like, whoa. Or like, I can be like a graze away from someone that's doing something, or someone that's doing the most, and I'm like, you know, that's something that I should be doing as well, you know. And sometimes the imposter syndrome comes from like, let me make it a bit more relatable. So like sometimes I can feel like, so for example, let's say I get a brand deal. A brand deal comes through, and maybe the coins aren't jivaling like that, you know. But I'm just gonna do it because like I feel like, yo, people need to see that I'm working with this brand, or like people need to see that this is what I'm doing. And sometimes it's like that shit doesn't even like do anything for me sometimes. Like I could be taking brand deals just off the fact that like, it's this brand, like I'm not gonna get to where I wanna be if I don't take this job sometimes, you know? And I think the imposter syndrome comes from like, I'm not gonna be where I wanna be if I don't do things sometimes. And sometimes I feel like I don't deserve some things if I don't take some things, you know? I don't know if I'm making sense. But yeah, that's where the imposter syndrome comes from. I feel like this year I need to be more dedicated and believing that like, you know, like this is where you're meant to be. This is what you're supposed to do. I don't think I've made any bad decisions, but I still do think that like I need to stop thinking about like, I won't be here if I don't do this, or you know, or like I need to take a 3,000 rand gig because like, am I making sense? No, I don't think I'm making sense. But yeah, imposter syndrome. However you however you interpret that in what I've said previously, I hope it makes sense to you. Then in the last point is like financial literacy, bro. This year I need to be smarter, I need to work harder, and I need to, in in the stuff that I did work harder for, I need to like, I need to look after those things, you know? I think of money as like an object that I just use. Like if I have the money, like this is what I'm supposed to be doing with it. I don't think of it as like this money is supposed to work for me. I need to move into that mental space that like, bro, uh, you're not always gonna be earning the money that you earn. There'll be times where it's higher, it's gonna be times where it's lower, but I need to see money as something that like works for me. It's supposed to better my life in the sense that like, yo, you've worked hard for this shit. Like, let your hard work like resemble different things with your money, and not necessarily just like clothes and going out and all kinds of like unnecessary stuff, you know. Even in like the things that I do want to be doing, and stuff that like, bro, I'm in my 20s. I'm not this video is not for me to be like, yo, um get it together, like you have a family or some shit. No, it's more of like, get it together, think about the long run, you know. It's not just about now, because ish me, I think about now. I don't think about like later. And to be fair, I think thinking about now has worked out for me in a lot of situations, and a lot of where I am now is because of that mentality. But in the same light, it's like I need to be smarter. It's no longer just like, it's not Monopoly. I'm not just playing a game and we going and we earning money and we just throwing money here, and you know. Also, like, if there's anybody that can help me like manage my money and like look towards what I should be putting my money towards, like, yo, please reach out. I need help, bro. I think it's important for us, the youth, and like, you know, us youngings, to like be smarter about those things, you know. Especially for like a nigga like me, bro. Like, and I'm sure there's a lot of niggas like me. I dropped out of varsity. I didn't like. My brain has been fried since grade 12, boy. So you can imagine like how much literacy and how much of like comprehending stuff and like um, applying myself in situations that I've missed out on because my brain is not active in like the education and like being in a healthy space that like allows my brain to think responsibly and think about like, you know, stuff that I should be doing, you know, to better my life even. It's supposed to be bettering my life, you know. So I just feel like I do need some guidance. I think this year I need to find a mentor. I need to find someone that can guide me and that can like show me a different perspective of my life and how my life can work for me. And yeah, that's pretty much the video, bro. Like, I'm proud that I was able to finally do this. I want to get back into YouTube like badly, badly, badly. Like, I want my life, as much as it's hustling and a lot of us is like creating my own opportunities. I want those opportunities to kind of like create themselves because of a routine that I've fallen into, and because of all the stuff that I want to do has now become so normal that like whatever comes is because of like this smoothness and this like, I don't know, this like calm energy of like, I know what I'm not, I don't necessarily need to know what I'm doing, but I know what I'm working towards, and I know what like the bigger picture is, you know. So yeah, I've got big plans for the year. I need to find a place ASAP. Firstly, like, God, please, however you're gonna do this, I know you're gonna do it. I need to get back into the year. I think this year, 2025, is a big year for me. And it's a big year because of how big 2024 was for me. 2024, we had crazy motion. We were doing like dope stuff. And, you know, I'm so grateful for that because I feel like 2024 was one of my best years. You know, when people say like, yo, this was my worst year and whatever, whatever, I don't think I've really had that. And that's why now me like being back in the crib is kind of like destabilized me, because my biggest piece was having my own place, you know. But I'll be back. I'll be back. Don't get me wrong. I'm good. I'm good, and I'm glad that like being back here has opened my mind, has slowed me down. As sucky as it is to be back at my mom's crib, like for a month, 2 months, whatever. I'm glad that like I'm able to humble myself and look at all my mistakes that I've made, and kind of almost like there's consequences for stuff, you know? And I think now I get to see that, and I get to see that like like I need to take life a bit more seriously, you know. But yeah, like, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for supporting me. You know, I mean, bro, this is a message to anybody that, like, bro, don't look at the numbers, don't look at all that stuff. That stuff is, it's not a reflection of life, bro. Like, what's in your head, your intention behind whatever you're doing is bigger than what, like, physically you can look at, and physically look at the numbers, and physically look at the engagement, and physically feel like, "No," you know. um but yeah, shout out, 2025 is going to be a big year. More vlogs coming up, more Vuzi, more flyness, more 2020 fly. Signing out.